Have you ever noticed that everyone comes to you when they need help? Listen, today we are going to be talking about the hidden cost of being the strong one. So, if you are that person who is always the strong one, the person that always appears to have it all together, the person who is always solving problems but never getting your own problem solved, or always helping solve people's problems but never getting help to solve your own problems, this is for you. So, let's go and start talking about this. What is up? I am Natasha Bryant. I'm a licensed mental health professional. I'm an execution strategist and a work mental wellness speaker. The owner of Speak Like Transformation, a mental health and wellness practice located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I am here to free you from being the strong one. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. Help your girl out. And if you like anything regarding mental wellness, if you are looking for strategies to be able to execute and maintain success, be able to scale and achieve success without losing yourself in the process, this YouTube channel is for you. So take a moment, click that subscribe button. Also click the notification button so you're aware when I drop the next video, because let me tell you, this burnout series I'm doing, you're not going to want to miss one episode. And also, follow me. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. I am there. Hey, and check me out there. Uh, we started the series off with a video about why rest is not fixing your burnout. So if you have been trying to do all the self-care strategies, doing all the resting and still feeling burnt out and wondering, why is this not working? What is the point? People say do this, but it's not working for me. Check that video out to understand, one, what burnout is, and to understand why your form of self-care isn't working, and how to find more effective forms of self-care to prevent burnout and to overcome burnout. But today's conversation is for all my strong ones out there. And I am her, she is me. And we're going to talk about how to let go of this, how to stop showing up as the one who always has it together. Okay. So, first things first. I want you, because and if you notice, there's a whole theme with my flow here. I first like to do some psychoeducation. Let's first understand what this means before we start going into how to change things, what habits, what strategies to use differently, right? So let's first talk about how this even develops. How do you even become the strong one in the first place? So I'm going to put my therapy clinical hat on to help you really understand the underlying factors that have led to this. First underlying factor, childhood. Sometimes it could be the family dynamic. It could be just your temperament and who you are as an individual, where you just automatically end up being the person who is the responsible one. I'm a elder, not elder as an elderly person, but elder as an oldest. I guess that's a better word to say it. I am the oldest. I am the oldest child. And we all know, when you are the oldest child, you are often being given the roles of being the responsible one. And that's the other part that connects with how this all happens, is family roles and family dynamics. So it's like, when you think about your childhood, think about, well, did I often always end up being someone who just took initiative? Was I that person that had that personality, that temperament, that just took the lead, that was often the leader, that often was the one that was like able to problem solve and use critical thinking skills and come up with solutions fast, quick, and in a hurry, right? And think about how that then possibly evolved into adulthood. Think about how it started when you were a child, like at 8 or 6, right? And then how then he evolved into like teenage years at 13, 16, 17, and then young adulthood and 22, 23, right? And then now adulthood. Think about how that just your own personality and temperament just evolved into you just being the leader all the time and taking the lead and being the planner. Maybe you're someone who's an organizer and someone who plans well, so you often take the lead to planning things. But now let's shift to the family roles. Sometimes because of your temperament, because of your skill sets, your natural given gifts and skill sets, you fall into that role. People assigned you as the responsible one because you are the oldest, right? You are now the one. You got to take care of your brothers and sisters. Make sure you watch over your brother and sister, right? Or maybe you grew up in a single parent home and you were the male, the oldest male, and your mother is the single parent, and she assigned you to be the father like figure, the man of the house. And so you end up having to be the strong one. Or maybe because you grew up in a single parent home, your mother assigned you to be the one to help take care of your siblings while she was away at work. Or fathers, a lot of single fathers out here who then assigned you to take care of things at home. Or maybe you have a single father, and because you are the oldest female, he assigned you to be the mother of the house, the female of the household. And you end up being the one that's cooking and cleaning and getting siblings ready for school. And those roles end up leading you to being the strong one in now adulthood. Or maybe your parents weren't even around, right? They were around, but not around. And so you were forced to figure, you were forced to take care of your siblings. You were forced to take on this leadership role. And then that connects with the trauma. That's the other area. Think about the trauma that you've experienced in your life. Did you grow up in a household where your parents were not around? You were either in foster care and or you had parents around but they had mental health or substance abuse issues, or they were around but not really around, right? Like your mother or parent or father would send you to your aunts or your grandparents home, or you would be in the house a lot by yourself because your parents were out working or and out in the streets. And so as a result of these different things, you had to learn how to care for yourself. You were forced to be a leader and figure it out because nobody else was there. Or maybe there was a lot of emotional abandonment that you experienced. So maybe not physical abandonment, but emotional abandonment, or maybe even both, where there was no one there who was going to save you. Your parents were not emotionally mature enough to handle any emotional experiences that you had. You were often dismissed emotionally. And so you had to care for yourself. Nobody else is going to be here to help me out. I'm going to have to figure it out. Maybe you were in a household where you were first generation. And so you had to take the lead because you had to be the translator at doctor's appointments and school meetings. And so you had to take the lead. So many different things happen in our lives that can impact how we become the strong one. And so these responses, and so sometimes we show up and we're not even really recognizing the why. Well, I'm helping you really take a moment to pause and explore the why. Why are you the strong one? What has happened in your life that has led to you being assigned this role or had led to this becoming your now identity? Now, the thing about being a strong one is that you end up overfunctioning. Overfunctioning means you end up doing too much. It means you end up doing a lot all the time. You're constantly busy. You're constantly doing something. You're constantly showing up and doing more than you actually need to be doing, taking on more responsibility than you actually need to be taking on. And so, what that looks like is fixing other people's problems. The strong one is often fixing other people's problems. People are coming to you for solutions. People are coming to you for support. People are coming to you for answers. People are coming to you to save them. And you just jump right in the role naturally because that's the role you've always played. Another example of overfunctioning is you have this difficulty asking for help because you've have been hyper independent in so many different ways. We just talked about childhood, family roles, responsibilities, trauma responses. Because of those different experiences, you have been taking the lead, holding it down for yourself. You didn't have to depend on nobody, nor could you maybe you didn't have anybody to depend on, so you only had yourself to depend on. And so the idea of trusting the world, mm, that sounds crazy. So therefore, you never ask for help, and or you never accept help when help is offered. Because the different things you experience in your life has told you that people are disappointing. People will just disappoint you. People will just let you down. People won't show up the way they say they're going to show up. People aren't going to do it the right way. And therefore, I can't trust others. The only person I know 100% who I can trust is me. And that is it. But then that leads you to doing life alone all the time. That leads you to carrying so much by yourself. The other way overfunctioning shows up is feeling alone. This connects with what I was just talking about. As a result of being hyper independent, as a result of not trusting others, you end up doing life alone. Even if you have a partner, even if you have friends, even if you have family that show up, you don't even allow them to show up for you. You might show up for them all the time, but you don't even allow them to show up for you. You don't even create the opportunities to be vulnerable in that way for people to show up for you. And then so you just end up often feeling like alone. Ain't nobody else gonna do it. I gotta do it by myself. Why is nobody else helping me? I have to do everything on my own. When I'm in a room full of people, I still feel alone. And that goes into this next part of what it costs. The cost of being hyper independent, the cost of being the strong one. One, burnout, because you're overextending yourself. Because of the mental overload of you constantly worrying about other people and making sure everybody else is okay. The constant feeling, emotional exhaustion of doing all these things by yourself and not having any help doing it. And I would not even say just emotional exhaustion. That also leads to physical exhaustion because you're running around physically doing a lot of things by yourself with no help. There's this anxiety, the anxiety of, what if I fail at doing this? Because now everything is on your shoulders. You're putting everything on your shoulders. You're carrying this humongous backpack. And so there's this anxiety about, well, what if I fail at this? Because it's on me. I can't blame anybody else. This is my project. These are my choices. These are my decisions. These are my actions. There's anxiety about, how am I going to get this all done? I have to do this by this time. I have to show up for this person. How am I going to be able to get all this done? There is anxiety that connects to worrying about other people. Is such and such going to be okay if I don't show up? I have to show up for this person because if I don't, they will not be okay. People need me. I don't need them. They need me. And that's not in a cocky way. That's in the sense of the strong one, where it's like, I'm good. I can handle heavy things. I'm good. I can handle tough things. I'm good. But will he be okay? Will she be good if she or he has to handle tough things? I don't think so. So I got to make sure I step in to support them. The other cost is the emotional exhaustion. We just talked about that. And one of the things I failed to mention about the over functioning is that it leads to resentment. Because when you're over functioning and doing all these things, you have this resentment of, why isn't anybody showing up for me? I show up for everybody else. Everybody else is expecting me to show up for them, but nobody ever asks me if I need help. Nobody ever checks in on me, but they expect me to check in on them. Or I check in on them all the time. When I check in on them, they don't even stop to pause and ask, how am I doing? Do I need help with anything? And this is what I tell all my high achieving women and individuals. That resentment, you got to take responsibility for, because you can't get mad at people for treating you the way you teach them how to treat you. They're treating you like the strong one because you always show up as the strong one. They treat you as the strong one because you always are there solving and fixing everybody else's problems and appearing like you are okay. You have no problems. If you do have problems, you will be able to figure it out with ease. And so, how can you expect people to show up for you? How can you expect people to ask if you need help? How do you expect people to check in on you if you never create the opportunity for people to do so? I'm just gonna pause and let that simmer. I know that might have hurt somebody's feelings, but that resentment that you're feeling about people not checking in on you, you have to start taking responsibility for why no one is checking in on you. Are you creating the vulnerability that is needed? Are you being vulnerable? Are you creating the opportunities that are needed for people to pause and ask if you need help? Are you being vulnerable enough to say when they do ask, yes, I need help. Thank you. Please help me in this way. If the answer is no, then you can't even get mad about it because you are showing up. You continue to wear the mask of the strong one, and therefore people are going to believe that you're the strong one. Nobody can see behind the mask but you. That's the whole point of a mask. The whole point of the mask is to hide behind what the real situation is. That's the whole point of the mask. So you can't expect people you have laser vision to see behind the mask. The mask is what you choose to present to the world. And if the mask is the strong one, the strong one is how you're going to be treated. So then going back to what that costs, then that leads to you feeling emotionally exhausted. Because now you feel abandoned in many ways because nobody's helping you. Sometimes you might even feel betrayed. I just offered this person this help and they didn't even bother checking on me. They know I'm going through this. They didn't even bother calling and checking on me. Then you feel betrayed. You feel alone. And then the other cost is that disconnected relationships. Because now you don't feel like you can trust people. Being a strong one often happens because you don't feel like you can trust people. And if you don't feel like you can trust people, then you're not going to be vulnerable. And if you're not vulnerable, then you're not going to open up. So there's never really a true intimate connection within your relationships. People don't really get to really know who you really are because you often are wearing that mask that shows, oh, I got it. I'm good. I'm confident. I don't got no problems. And if I do have problems, I can handle it. Like I can handle anything. Like I'm good. Meanwhile, inside you're struggling. But nobody gets to see that version of you because you don't allow people to see that version of you. Therefore, you never really develop true intimate relationships. And there's this disconnection that you truly feel and that other people probably feel as well. You end up feeling like nobody really knows who I am. Like I can't trust them. They don't even know who I really am. Again, take responsibility. Why don't they know who you really are? Are you opening up? Are you being vulnerable? Or are you constantly wearing this mask? How can you expect somebody to really know who you are if you're only showing a masked version of you? I know this might be hard for some people. I know y'all, some of y'all are like, girl, I was not ready for this. I thought we were going to be talking about how I can, get people to stop making me the dependable one. Well, this is how. This is how. And you might not like the next thing I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say that. But if you are feeling what I'm saying, if you are picking up what I'm putting down, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button so you can continue to get all these type of gems, so you can continue to clutch your pearls and reflect on how you can take back control of your life to live the life that you actually want to live and become the version of you that you actually want to become. So now let's talk about how to be able to shift this, how to start making some changes here. All right. Within my fire framework, I talked about my fire framework in the last video regarding this burnout series. And this fire framework is within my skill without sacrifice method. The skill without sacrifice method is all about helping high achieving, high performing individuals to be able to scale success, achieve the goals, perform at a high level without losing yourself in the process. And the way I teach that, I have two different frameworks, and one is the FIRE framework. And FIRE as an acronym. The R in the FIRE, in the word fire, is reset yourself. And it's all about taking a pause to do a reset of like, what are the things you personally need to change to create the life that you want to live, right? And the reset yourself, self is also an acronym. As you can see, I like acronyms. And in the word self, L stands for limits. And so going back to the reset yourself, what are things that you can do to change to create the life that you want to live, right? And one is limits, setting those boundaries. What are the limits that you need to start setting so that you can stop being the strong one? Now, I'm going to be honest. These boundaries are not for other people. These are not boundaries when it comes to this topic. These are not boundaries that you need to set so other people can show up differently. These honestly are boundaries these are all internal boundaries. These are boundaries you need to set for yourself. Here's an example of that. When someone comes to you with a problem, you tell yourself, okay, nope, this is not my problem. I am not here to solve it. I'm just going to listen and I'm not going to fix. I know that sounds crazy because the anxiety will perk up. We talked about the anxiety. The anxiety will be immediately activated and start worrying about, but what if this person is not going to be okay? What if that means that leaves them struggling? What if that means that they don't end up figuring out how to get through this? That is not your problem. And that might sound cynical, it might sound selfish, but it's the reality. And this is why, if it's not your problem, you have no control over it. That's why you have to let it go. Because if it's not your problem in the first place, there is absolutely nothing you can do to control the narrative. There's nothing you can do to control the outcome of this problem. The only person who has 100% control over the outcome of this problem is the person whose problem it is. So this is why you need to step back. Because how many times, let's be honest, how many times have you gone in to support, help, fix, solve somebody's problem, and then they didn't follow any of your advice, and that left you frustrated, maybe even some resentment, or they didn't do it exactly the way you thought it should have been done, and that left you feeling upset and frustrated? Or they just keep coming to you with the same daggone problem because they have not taken one step, even though they constantly express this desire to change, but they're not taking one step, and you're about sick of them coming to you about the same daggone thing. Why is all that happening? Because you have no control. You have no control over changing the outcome. Only they do. So this is why you have to ask yourself, or not ask yourself, remind yourself, this is not my problem to fix. I'm just going to be here to listen. And I will ask. I won't just volunteer my services. I will ask, are you looking to vent, or are you looking to help receive some solutions? And the person, and right there, based on their decision, that lets you know, okay, what support I need to provide them. They're just like, no, I'm just looking to vent. Okay, cool. I'm just going to validate. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds horrible. That's how you handling that. Like, what's going on? How you feeling about all this? Just active listening. That's all you gotta do. And they say, you know what? Actually, I really would like some help brainstorming. Okay, let's brainstorm. Have you thought about this? Where are you at so far in the brainstorming? What solutions have you thought of so far? But that's as far as it goes. You don't start doing for. Even if you are providing solutions, you don't start doing for them. You provide them with the resources, and then you empower them to use those resources. You don't use the resources for them. You don't do the work for them. If they say, I would like some help, You help them understand what resources they have. You might give them some resources, but they are the ones who are in control over whether or not those resources get used or not, and or how they are used. You're not in control in that way. So that's an example of setting boundaries. So thinking about that, think about, because boundaries is what protects your energy. You're burnt out because there's no boundaries. You're just saying yes to everything. You're jumping in to everybody's problem, you're jumping in to fix everything. You're jumping in to take the lead on everything. Mm-mm. Is this my problem to fix? Is this my responsibility to carry? The answer is no. Take a step back. Again, as you can see, that boundary has nothing to do with somebody else. That's all you checking you. Here's your action step for this one. Identify one area where you're carrying more than your share. That's the other thing about being a strong one, is that someone says like, oh, yeah, I'm going to help. And then before you know, you realize you're doing most of the work, if not all the work. And this person is supposed to be jumping in, and it's supposed to be 50-50, and or because it's not even your problem or your issue, you was only supposed to be in for a little bit and they were supposed to be doing most of the work, and somehow the roles reversed. So think about that. Identify one area. What area are you carrying more than your actual share, the more than you actually supposed to be carrying? And then that's when that boundary comes in, where you start to pull back and let this person figure it out. Let this person take the lead. Now, if this was a lot for you, put it in the comments. Share in the comments your thoughts about this video, because I would love to hear your thoughts and videos about this one. And if this is for you, comment. I want you to put in the comments, I'm done carrying everything. If this connected with you in some way, in any type of way, write in the comments, I'm done carrying everything. And not even write in the comments, put it on a sticky note, put it as a backdrop for your phone, so you remember to stop carrying everything. There is a link in the description to access my Scale Without Sacrifice scorecard. And this scorecard is going to help you really figure out, is being the strong one the pattern behavior that's impacting you the most? Or is it pleasing? Or is it proving? Or is it over functioning? Like, what is it, right? And so through this assessment, it's about 2 to 3 minute assessment that you will complete, and it will let you know what pattern behavior is the one that's really stopping you from executing, is the one that's really preventing you from being who you really want to be. And then if you choose to opt in to receive a personalized plan, you will receive a personalized plan specifically for that pattern that will give you strategies and from me, this is all from me. I'll give you personal strategies that's going to help you really change those pattern behaviors. Make sure you stay tuned for the next video regarding this burnout series, because it's going to be another good one. And until I see you again, make sure you speak life and live unapologetically.